Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I have soccer supporters. I'm Ben Brackett, your soccer talk co-host, along with my good buddy Blake Sievers. Sievers, how are you?
I'm good. Ready to talk high school soccer, Ben.
Let's do it. Game of the week time. We are back with this week. We went and saw we followed Lincoln Rail Splitters against the North High Polar Bears on the girls' side. These are two programs that support us a fair amount, so we wanted to go watch them this spring. And I also helped them a little bit during preseason, coach both teams separately. So I guess I had a slightly vested interest in the game.
Yeah, I'd be curious what your prediction was going into it, Ben. We didn't talk about that.
We did not. My prediction going into it was that Lincoln would probably be tough to beat, and they probably would win. That was my thought. And I thought anything other than a loss for North would be a good result for them. That was what I thought.
Kind of their first game of the year as well,
Yep.
which was interesting having a conference game open up the schedule.
And that's also like one of their biggest games too. Roosevelt in the city conference here typically win the conference, but Lincoln and North have pretty close rivalry, and usually they're kind of battling it out for second place in the group. So anyway, maybe we'll also I forgot to introduce our good buddy Matt Sade, the Titan tactician. Titan, how are you today?
I'm good. Thanks, Ben.
uh, this game this time was at MediaCom Stadium. Totally changes things. 'Cause typically we've gone and watched them play like at Grub or somewhere like that where the field's a little choppy, grass is maybe inconsistent, whatever. I think this made a huge difference in the game.
It's interesting you say that. Elaborate, I
It
guess.
just seemed like there was more space. It seemed like the ball was like under control more often. It's like sometimes I guess when I would see them play on the bumpier field, it seemed like the ball's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, so I'd just be curious, Ben. You trained them both a little bit, right, in the preseason. Um, Lincoln now has their own turf field,
So does North
and
now.
North now does as well.
I
So
think
did
it's a game changer for
you guys
both.
trained on the turf both times, like or both groups, I guess.
That's correct. Total game changer. Total game changer, like in the way that the kids approached it, but then also just like there's so much more space and the quality just improves as a result.
And both those facilities are on campus, which I'm sure helps. I know both groups have had issues training in locations in the past, right? Lincoln's had to go to Soccer South a little bit. So now you're right on campus. And like you said, I mean, the old North football practice field has been, I don't
Well,
know, what a nice way to say it. I don't
well,
know.
and they're still using it, still dealing with it. Interestingly enough, the North girls this year had 70 kids out.
Ooh,
70. And this is a program that when she started, was maybe feeling, to get to 20 was a good year for them. So uh, they definitely need all the space they can get over there at North. And I don't think Lincoln had quite as many girls out, but I was really surprised. Not really surprised,
So
but
Lincoln had, I mean, I talked to, when Tiger talked to us, it was 66 at Lincoln.
okay, so then there you go. I think that's really positive. Then when you talk, especially at some of these maybe more suburban schools, and you included Matt there at Dowling. Seems like the amount of players is down a little bit.
Yeah,
Participation's down.
we're probably at 42, 43.
But we've talked a little bit in the past, right, about DMPS and just some of the things we've been doing with the district as far as soccer and the popularity. Obviously, on the boys' side, it's one of their most popular, if not the most participated in sport. And obviously,
Yep.
now on the girls, I'd be curious where Roosevelt is at and where East is at. But having that many is really, really strong and really good for both schools, I think.
Yeah, and a testament to both coaching staffs, right? Lisa Grief at North and Tiger LT Gray Neaters down there at Lincoln. They both, I think they, like legitimized both those programs a little bit and brought them along pretty significantly. And they both, in their in wildly different ways, support the teams and kind of go above and beyond. They're totally different people about the way they go about it, but they both love their teams a ton and are really, really positive influences on their communities as a result. So anyway, it was cool for me to go be a part of both of those preseason deals, and then it's fun to watch them play. Um, should we just kind of hop into the clips real quick because it was a 1-1 result, which I would not have, like I mentioned before, I would not have guessed that. I would have thought Lincoln would have been they would have been really tough to beat just with all the skill they have. And so maybe Matt, we'll talk about this quick while I get my clips teed up. But we watched the Lincoln girls play in our futsal events as well, and we were just surprised at the overall quality. And then as we talked to like some of the girls that are the best players are freshmen and sophomores that have come up playing in the UFA club program, the United Football Academy program now on the South Side. And it's just kind of testing them against, maybe to that as well, that club and what they've done and just, bringing quality into the school districts.
Yeah, definitely. So we had our preseason tournament over at UFA's indoor facility right over here, and like you said, the young kids for Lincoln look really promising, and then they were all players that had played for UFA. So yeah, the club infrastructure there, and I remember it was just 4 or 5 years ago, I think, I remember seeing a post from Jaime where they had just started the girls program, and so that first girls team was maybe 10 or 15 players. And so now to see that grow and to see some of the kids that were eights, nines, tens now in high school, it's a really good thing. So I think there's a lot of good stuff going on just in the metro area around soccer. So you've got obviously Tiger and Lisa doing a good job in the program, high school programs. You've got UFA doing a great job. Of course, we've put in a bunch of mini pitches around those schools too, which I think helps. There's not really a way for us to measure that, but when you start to see participation growing like that, that's the most positive thing. Besides results, it's in between two schools that were struggling to field a varsity team a few years ago. You've now got 140 players.
When we've seen a little bit, Lincoln girls have participated in the futsal event for the past few years now, and kind of back to your point a little bit, Ben. I was impressed. I saw him play. I was like, "Holy cow, Tiger! Like you guys have now, he's done really well." So here's a YouTube plug. If you want to see Ben kind of stress out a little bit for fixing his trying to get the screen up, but he's got it going now. So let's get into it.
Yeah, and well, yeah. Here, let's just start with it. And so we'll look at this is the first goal for North. We're about halfway through the half here. And you'll see, let's see, we'll watch it play out a little bit. And just to see.
That's a handball.
Yeah, so actually, that's where it comes from, right? It's the foul that he's ultimately is what gets ball sent through, and I'll be curious. So it's ultimately penalty for Polar Bears. Last player back, Lincoln. Goalkeeper fouls here, so he's sort of full choppy, doing season giveaways in the midfield throughout the game. And here's just kind of a reaction to get it down. Then interesting, right? So we'll talk about it, really doesn't really call out a red card. Previous years, yes. Doing a car penalty. Now she has to stop often.
Saw this last week.
We did, and it's just sort of interesting. I like that she isn't sent off because it's not a sure attack, but it's not also doesn't hit the ball.
So we look at our comments on our last podcast. From the first week, you would rule.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. So someone, I think was his name, Justin Moore, commented, gave us the rule, And so basically what happens is even if you deny an obvious goal scoring opportunity, if you made an attempt to play the ball and the referee gives a penalty kick, it's only a yellow card. So if you, however, don't make an attempt to play the ball and maybe it's something closer to violent conduct, then you can get sent off. So it looks like the referee here made the decision to award the penalty, say that the goalkeeper attempted to play the ball. I'd like to see that again. I think that's where the interesting part about goalkeeping is, do you attempt to play the ball, right? Because when I watched the boys game back, the clip we actually posted for play of the week, Roosevelt versus Dowling, the Roosevelt goalkeeper is way late. And so I would argue that the red was valid. I mean, it gets to be subjective if the goalkeeper's actually trying to play the ball. I'd like to see that again on this one too after we see the goal.
Yeah, let's just watch it. So,
Penalty shout,
Yeah.
right? So it's penalty kick.
penalty kick. I was trying to make sure I got her name correct. It's Morelli Martinez Sanchez who steps up. She's a senior. And this is one of those unique things too, just about North. She actually goes to Sadell, and they have a reciprocity type deal with them. So anyway, she steps up. She's the probably best player on the ball. Definitely the best ball player.
Can you click that screen, Ben?
Perfect penalty for
Nice look. You want to watch that one more time, Matt?
Yeah.
Instead? Let's see if I can figure this out.
As Ben figures that out, I'd be curious again because the goalkeeper, I mean, I don't know. She's not really going, quote, to goal.
what do you mean?
Well, Ben, you got it here?
Here we
Okay,
go.
yeah,
So
go ahead.
As the player gets sent through, so I think it's number 11. I can't.
Watch how Davis touch it. She's going away from goal there.
Yeah.
So it's not a red. I don't think there's any doubt it's not a red card, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can make the argument.
Not an obvious goal scoring opportunity after she touches the ball to her left.
Yeah.
And, the goalkeeper's just late, but I don't think the goalkeeper expects her to go way left. So to me, it's the right call. Easily.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think it's Haley Weinheimer who's the striker that kind of gets on the end of that. And I would just shout out her athleticism because she latches on that thing real quick. And when she gets taken down, she does like a forward roll out of it and just pops right back up. And when I saw her start to go down, when I watched it first, I was like, oh no, she's in trouble. And then she just kind of like, pop, rolls out of it. I mean, whatever.
Can we see the penalty one more time too? I want to see
Yeah.
I like this, just the simplicity in this. We talked about this last week too, right? There's no fanciness here. She just kind of picks the side of the goal she wants to go to and side foot it on the ground with enough pace.
Goalkeeper does actually look ready up on her toes.
She does have a little. So let's kind of shift to the left a little bit.
That's what goalkeeper coming in right away, right?
Yeah.
That's what she's done.
So that is the interesting thing about penalty kicks now, right? Is your second string goalkeeper better be ready.
I was
At all times.
Did you guys notice that she came on right away? So I don't know. I mean,
That was quick.
Yeah, like she had her jersey on.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting piece for coaches, right? I suppose nowadays you've got to probably have your backup like gloves on immediately. Obviously they would wait, but immediately ready.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, that's a big goal, right? You go up halfway through the first half, basically 16 left.
Yep.
Go up 1-0.
Yeah, and then it's from there that the end of the balance of the first half and the first part of the second half was, there's not one. Neither team's like bad, but neither team is super threatening. It's a lot of midfield play. And then ironically, well, maybe not ironically, but we always talk about how penalties come in pairs, right, Blake? So what we'll see here, there's about 16 minutes left, and so there's a foul, right? Not a foul, an injury right before this, and the kids probably hang out for 3-4 minutes, and it looked for a minute. I was concerned. It looked like it must be like a really bad injury because it was taking so long, but ultimately the player walked off. So but everybody got cold is kind of what I was, it was like truly like 3, 4 minutes of just like standing around. The team's huddled up and chatting, what have you. And then they start with a throw in. So I think I've got it right. Set piece here. Yeah, sure, it's not set piece, but throw in here on the side. So
You can hear how windy it is, right?
just drop balls. So they play the ball in, and it gets a little bit hectic here. And it's one comment certain ways. The clearances are not great. And then start to or not maybe react very quickly. All right.
Referee step out right on top of it. They agree with not bleach right there, right?
Correct. Yeah, and you got Ashley Flores for Lincoln step up, another great ball striker, and she was the one who initially played the ball into the box and hit the post, which just sort of caused all sorts of confusion. Here's the concept of that. And so, to me, I would have thought that Lincoln's potentially win the game, put all the pressure on, and kind of break North's hearts.
Can we watch that sequence one more time? I just want to see
You want to see the?
I want to see the ball hit the bar again.
Yep.
I like this, by the way. I'll fill some time here really quick. I like that. We got a Tiger tactician, I think.
The Tiger tactician.
That's good.
Here we go. Ball's bouncing around. That's fine. But if everyone picks up, just kind of loses the triple fit. I mean, we're
Oh, I missed it. Get them.
Sort of a lack of reaction. Just kind of there on it. Yeah. So again, I would have thought that Lincoln was that sort of where they go on to maybe potentially win it. Again, just based on like the the depth of their squad and the quality of their players. And sometimes it's like it's harder to be the team that's been up 1-0 and then when the other team equalizes, you're definitely feeling down. But in this situation, Lincoln's on it. And so they get a set piece just a few minutes later here. You'll see the ball, little touch foul here. 40 yards from goal. I can't tell who strikes this ball. I'm guessing it's Morelli, but I'm certain. So here we have, I'll tell you right now. I'm gonna pause it right before the ball is struck. So remove that. So this is when the ball is struck right here. The play will go on. Eventually, North will score. My understanding is this is where we're calling. This is the offside piece, but then I'm not sure about the rest of it. So I need your eyes on this, especially with your referee expertise. Okay?
Right, like right now is where it's offsides.
Yeah. So the player with the I can't remember her name right now off the top of my head. I think it's Vic.
Far left.
Yeah, far left.
Is off.
Issue though, because then you look at the center back on the other hash mark. She's even with her too. You see?
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's close. And she does take a little step, and even goalkeeper, right? That's what I thought they were
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a tricky one. And hopefully it's worth it. And then here's where she's maybe off. Watch the lead too. Does the flag on it. It's a lazy dude, right? So the North players celebrate everyone and Lincoln referee calls offside, and he calls offside. See where he calls it?
Yeah.
He calls it the 6-yard line.
Show one more time. One more time.
Yep.
Now that I
And then,
know
so then
that.
they take a basically like a free kick from their own 6 yard box. Okay, we're ready?
Yep.
Here we go again. Take three.
You're saying that basically if the goalkeeper saves it, that's
And
where
well,
they
yeah,
take
that,
the
and
free
then
kick, and so that's
A
where
goalkeeper save does not reset offsides line though.
correct. But then
why
watch
did they?
the Lincoln players don't react like the flag, right? Watch them. Watch them. They just stop.
Well, nobody raised it at all.
Sure. They're very bizarre. And then if you look at
Oh, you know what? Actually, okay. So I think so. Go back one more time. Sorry.
no problem. This is why we're here.
Where are the? So I'll tell you when I think you should stop it.
Okay.
Okay. So she's just struck the ball there.
Yeah.
So it looks to me like this is what's important is are the two North players that are in the box ahead or behind the ball when she strikes it right here?
Right.
Right. So if they're ahead of the ball when she strikes it right here, and I think it's just off her foot, so you can't see the ball right now. Then on the rebound, they would be offsides. But I think the North player in the middle inside the 6 yard box,
She does not look. Yeah, she does not.
right?
Look,
She doesn't look like she's offsides.
no, so we'll just quick play it now. But then again, they took the free kick at the World Cup,
Based on then they would have called the offsides on rebound.
Yes, that's what it seems like.
Right.
So
Wow, those are really two close offsides calls. Even if it was at the 18
yeah,
or in the 6 yard box, it's so close that you almost need like VAR
yeah,
to give you the actual answer.
correct.
For me, you can't see unless you're the lines person. From the video, it looks harsh to call that goal back.
I would agree, but I also do wonder without being able to see the whole picture because we obviously can't see it in the video. I'd be curious if the linesman did raise the flag or not. Like at what point specifically they did, because that would make because sometimes right the center ref just gets caught up in the play a little bit and might not see the flag go up the first time and maybe sees it late and then you're going it happens.
Yeah, that's such a hard sequence for the linesman too because the Lincoln players don't react and get inside the box, but the North players do. And so you have this weird sequence where ordinarily you'd have a second to last defender to pick out who wasn't the goalkeeper.
Right.
But here you have three North players inside the 6 yard box and only a goalkeeper. And so I can see being the linesman looking at that and going, oh, wait a second. There's no Lincoln second to last defender. And so I think that may have been offsides and he popped the flag at the end.
Well, I literally said to Lisa, I was like, that it's like breaking my brain because I can't figure out like what exactly happened because there's so much stuff, little like nuances that you pick up that you're like, wait, ooh, okay, ooh, but not a fun moment to be a referee there because you're on the hook for making a decision that it's like it's a tricky one.
Yeah.
And the camera quality is unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
Well
We're able
done.
to see some real good stuff here. So I don't know. I mean, I think I'm gonna go ahead and unshare my screen. I think, but I think to me one of the biggest takeaways for this was then watching the game and stuff was that like you see those defining moments of the game where really like who reacts quickest and um essentially like who's able to keep the ball out of their box the best is and I don't know if I don't want to say like at this level because to me that's like at any level if you're a team that reacts quickly you're going to be successful and if you're able to keep the ball out of your box you're probably all right but some of these situations like they're misclearing the ball more than once and if we're talking themes we were just watching North and Lincoln on the boys side right because we're buddies with Joe and similar sort of situation with getting the ball out of their box for Lincoln.
Yeah. I think that if you were to watch a lot of these games, when there are free kicks, like the one we just saw in the girls' game, come into the box, I think a lot of the defenders, especially when they they start on the edge of the 18-yard box, they just watch the ball go over their head and they don't travel into the box. And so it's almost like a game of chance you're playing where you got to get bailed out by the striker who misses or the referee who um, calls an offsides or something like that. I think that happens a lot. I've seen it happen in our games a lot by our team. It's you just it's like, ball's not going in. You just watch it and you think the goalkeeper's going to get it. And generally speaking, the attackers are in the box just like North was.
Yeah. Well, and that happened on both goals. So anyway, maybe something for both teams to work on a little bit. But it also needs to be like a thing that's a bit of a commonality throughout the game. So what was the other thing we were going to do today, Steve? We're going to run through a bunch of results from the rest of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just talk really quick about the girls to start since we're on it.
Yeah.
Girls have rankings now, right? Preseason rankings. And obviously very, very early, but just looking at teams' results and where they were ranked is interesting. So in 1A, Davenport Assumption is 1, Des Moines Christian is 2. Well, Davenport Assumption, granted their schedule's been difficult, but they start the season 0-2.
And they're still number 1.
Well, the rankings don't come out. The second set of rankings, I should say, doesn't come out yet. Does that make sense, Ben?
Mm-hmm.
So that's on 1A. Your preseason number 1 has lost twice. You want to talk about 2A? You got Dallas Center Grimes is number 1 or was number 1. I'm guessing they won't be anymore, but
Yeah.
they dropped a game as well already. Their only game of the year. But they dropped their first game 2-0 to Norwalk. And then the 3A side's a little different, right? Because you got Northwest as the number 1 ranked team. They hadn't played yet. But then I think the big result there is Valley beating Ankeny last night 2-0. So just again, you got 2 top preseason number 1s have dropped games already in the first week / week and a half to whatever of the season on the girls' side. So just some talking points there, and then obviously with the weather, multiple cancellations on the girls' side.
So it goes. Now the boys' side, on the other hand, we've seen some really lopsided results and they're like kind of inconsistent too, right, Blake?
Yeah, all over the place. I don't, like you talk big schools, and the boys' rankings have not come out yet. I have the date here. It was interesting, I thought, interesting, because they've now played 2 weeks now. I mean, this will be the second full week, right?
Yes.
And then they don't come out until the 20th.
Okay.
So we got another 10 days. But again, they're getting data from the first couple weeks of the season to actually make their rankings.
I mean, the most significant result on the boys' side for me has been Waukee Northwest versus Centennial.
Yeah.
I mean,
Centennial winning 5-0.
right, and the game was over early, right?
That's what it sounded like.
Yep. I mean, but then we talked a little bit about our buddies over at Dowling, right? You have Southeast Polk beats the former champion Urbandale Jayhawks. Then Urbandale goes and smacks Dowling 5-0.
Yeah, I just don't know that when was the last time that if you just go by it based on the transitive property that you would say Southeast Polk is 7 goals better than Dowling. Obviously, that's not an accurate transition. But I don't know, like when was the last time you would have thought Southeast Polk was favored over Dowling? That's been a while, if ever, right? So I just that's kind of an interesting one, right? Dowling Valley play tonight, so I'm curious. That might be one that I throw on the screen for.
But you got Johnston undefeated, Roosevelt undefeated. I don't know if fighting Kurt Lewis is out. I was kind of impressed. They won their first 3 games and kept shutouts every game, won 3-0, 4-0, 5-0.
Yeah, shout out to Weston McPhee, new head coach at North High. I think they're 3 or 4-1.
3-1, yep.
3-1. But a big crosstown rivalry with the North Lincoln as far as conference goes. North beat them 3-0. Poor Joe Stonerath getting defeated by his former assistant coach handily.
And then did you guys see the really quick go back to Eastern Iowa City West and Liberty played last night in the downpour?
No.
Liberty lost, so Matt, sorry, Styles Harding there, but
Well,
Iowa
what's
State
that
West
matchup, though?
2-0. But they played. It was great because there
I
was a
can't
ton
imagine
of
either of those coaches
cancellations.
want to cancel.
Yeah, I mean it was a great little couple good. I mean the ground's wet, so 2 goals that kind of, or one at least skipped off the ground, kind of made it really difficult for the goalie, and another just I think screamer. But I loved it. I saw the goals and I was like, oh, this. I'm glad they played. It was great.
Yeah, awesome. Any other standout results in this first couple of weeks? I would say this is where we would lean on our viewers and our supporters. Let us know what games we should get to or what games we should keep an eye on. Let us know what results maybe we may have missed. You know, slide in the DMs, hop in the comments. What else you got, Titan? Anything for us?
Nope.
My fellow Titan, or sorry, I guess I'm a Tiger. My fellow tactician.
Nope. You did good. You did good, Ben.
Might allow you to do that again.
Steve, you got anything else?
Nope.
All right, great. Well, another excellent week of high school soccer in the books. We'll be back to chat next week, and our film guy will be back, so you won't have to um, suffer through the lack of quality film. Talk to you soon.